In this video, we're going to walk through Activity 9.2, installing and configuring the remote access role. The remote access role allows us to set up a lot of, remote access options such as VPN, dial-up, or other types of communications to remote systems. So let's get started. Now, the first thing we need to note is that this is the first activity in a new chapter, which means we need to go into Hyper-V Manager and we need to revert all of our virtual machines. So go ahead and select each virtual machine out of all 5, and then down here under checkpoints, right-click Initial Config and apply. Do that for all 5 of these. So that was DM2. Do the same thing for Hyper-V. Apply. And then server SA1, right-click, apply, DC1, apply, and DM1, apply. If there are any other checkpoints in there, go ahead and remove them at this time. Once we have reverted to our environment, we need to power on server DC1, DM1, and SA1, which I have done here. The next thing we need to do is there is a slight issue in our login credentials. Our IP addresses. So what I need to do is on server DM1 and SA1, I need to, at the start menu, right-click, Network Connections, change adapter options, and then Ethernet 1, I need to right-click Properties, and IPv4 Properties, and then I need to change this IP address. Instead of 192.168.1, server DM1 needs to be 172.168.1.0.240. OK, and close. And then the same thing on server SA1, network connection, change adapter, Ethernet 1, right-click Properties, IPv4 Properties, and then we change the IP address to 172.131.0.101. OK, and close. Next, there appears to be a typo in the book. The book tells you to log into server DM1 as an administrator. You actually need to log in as a domain administrator. So, so once you have done that, you should be able to open up PowerShell, and the PowerShell prompt should say administrator.az800 to let you know you're logged in as a domain admin as opposed to just an administrator. With that being said, we are now ready to install our routing and remote access role. So here on Server Manager, you can either go to Manage, Add Roles and Features, or right here, just go ahead and click Add Roles and Features. This starts the wizard, so we will click Next. And then in the Server Roles tab, we want to choose Remote Access. That will add a new section here under Remote Access Role Services, where we can choose which portions of remote access we want. So next. And here we want to choose Direct Access and Routing. So Direct Access, Add, Routing, and next, and Install. This will install the necessary services. That will take a couple of minutes. So while that's going on, I will go ahead and pause the video. All right, the install process took a minute or two. Thanks to pausing, we didn't have to watch all that. So when the installation is finished, I can actually click right here, open the Getting Started wizard. However, to follow the instructions in the lab, I'm going to go ahead and click Close. And then in Server Manager, I'm going to come up to Tools and choose Routing and Remote Access. When the Routing and Remote Access, or sometimes referred to as RRAS tool opens, I see Server DM1 and it is currently disabled. I'm going to right-click on it and say Configure and Enable Routing and Remote Access. Going to click Next, and the choice I want here is remote access, either dial-up or VPN. You can see there are several other options there, including a custom option where I can pick and choose. We'll choose that, our default right there. Next, we have our choice of types, and specifically, we want to do a VPN gateway. Go ahead and click Next. It asks me which network interface should be listening, and in this case, I want Ethernet 1, and this is a great time to confirm the IP address 172.31.0.240, and the Enable Security is selected. Next. Here I could choose IP addresses. If I had DHCP server in my environment, I could say automatic. However, I do not have a DHCP server in my environment, so I'm going to specify from a specified range and then a new range, and that is going to be 10.99.0.1. And I want 10 addresses, so I could type right here 10.99.0.10, or I could just simply say I want 10 addresses, and it fills it out for me. Now I'll say OK. Next. And then no, I do not want to use routing remote access. I want to use routing remote access to authenticate requests. In a later lab, we will use Radius. Next, and finish. Go ahead and say OK. And we should get another prompt asking about DHCP relays. Supporting DHCP relay messages, say OK, and it should finish. If you got another message talking about how you could not join into Active Directory, that means you did not log in as a domain admin, only as the local admin. One remaining edit with regards to setting up our server DM1 is we actually need to open up some firewall rules. There are many ways to do that. The way I'm going to do this is come down here to the search bar, and I'm going to start typing in a firewall, and I will see that there is a Windows Defender firewall with advanced security. If that doesn't show up, go ahead and type in advanced security, and you will see Windows Firewall with advanced security. When you select that, we want to click Inbound Rules, and we want to sort by group. So go ahead and click the Group tab there, and you will see it is sorting between ascending and descending. Scroll down. We want to look for the routing and remote access. No, not remote access, routing and remote access. There we are, routing and remote access. And we will see that there are four rules right there, and currently they are not enabled. I've gone ahead and highlighted them, and then I'm going to click Enable Rule, and that is required for the VPN services to begin working.